Welcome to this deep dive. We're jumping right in today with a topic that feels incredibly timely.
Yeah, definitely.
We're looking at artificial intelligence
Mm.
and specifically AI agents, how they're moving out of, the theory and into the real world.
Right. Transforming tasks, boosting efficiency.
And maybe most crucially, helping us conserve really precious resources.
That's the plan. And for this, we've been digging into some great source material, mostly insights and experiences from the Vision to Venture channel videos.
Uh,
They've really focused on this one person, Tom, and his ventures into what people are calling smart farming.
right.
And since, a lot of you listening are part of that Vision to Venture community, this deep dive is sort of tailored for you, digging into that material you're familiar with.
Good point. So our goal here is really to unpack the how and the why behind this shift.
Mm-hmm.
How can technology take something so, ancient, so tradition-bound like agriculture, and turn it into a blueprint for the future? And as you'll see, the lessons we pull out about prediction, optimization, automation, they're relevant no matter what field you're in.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's get into Tom's story, as the source material lays it out. It kicks off with an inheritance, a big one.
Yeah.
425 hectares of fertile land. But it wasn't just land, it was, family legacy. His grandfather had worked that same soil for years.
Wow.
And his final message to Tom was pretty profound. Something like, take care of this land, it's the real treasure.
That's a heavy charge, isn't it? Suddenly, Tom has this massive asset. The sources call it a fortune of opportunity.
Right.
But it comes with this huge responsibility, which raises the core question, the one driving his whole journey. How do you honor that legacy, protect the land, but also elevate its potential, for the future?
And the traditional path, well, the videos make it really clear that dust wasn't going to cut it. It wasn't a sustainable answer.
Yes.
Think about the scale of manual labor involved, just sheer hard work. And the farming itself was based on seasonal guesswork.
Right. Intuition, weather patterns.
Exactly. And the resource use was just staggering. We're talking thousands of liters of water per hectare. Thousands, just to get sort of average results.
Plus hundreds and hundreds of work hours poured in.
And even with all that effort, all those resources, the yields were still, well, a bit of a gamble.
Yeah, unpredictable. Things like pest infestations popping up.
Depending on rainfall that might or might not come, dealing with soil that wasn't managed consistently, it really sounds like a cycle of inefficiency, potential loss.
It does.
Yeah, the sources really highlight how this old way wasn't just inefficient. It felt like a waste. Waste of time, waste of water, and honestly, a waste of the land's actual potential.
So it wasn't really honoring the legacy. It was more like struggling against its limits.
Precisely. And that situation painted a very clear picture. They needed a different approach, something smarter, something driven by data.
And that seems to be the spark for phase one of Tom's journey. His friend, Arlo, comes in with an idea.
Right, Arlo's pitch. Let's not try to overhaul everything at once. Let's start small, but smart.
Okay.
A 20-hectare pilot project, focusing on one specific crop, Chandler walnut trees, grafted onto resilient paradox rootstock, I think it was.
Walnuts, okay. But the vision wasn't just planting trees, was it?
No, not at all. It was about building a fully integrated smart farm right from the start on that pilot section. They knew they needed data to replace the guesswork.
And automation to replace the drudgery.
Exactly, which led them to some really specific tech.
What kind of tech are we talking about here? What stood out from the sources?
Well, the foundation, definitely the smart soil sensors. They buried them at strategic depths across the plot.
Okay.
And these weren't just passive things. They were actively measuring moisture, nutrient content every 15 minutes.
Every 15 minutes. Wow. Think about the level of detail compared to just walking the fields.
It's night and day. And that real-time, really granular data, that's key because it links directly to the next piece of tech.
Which was?
Precision drip irrigation. So the system isn't just running on a timer like old sprinklers.
No, it's connected to the sensors.
Exactly. Releasing water only when the data says it's needed and exactly where it's needed, right at the roots.
That immediately screams resource conservation. Water saving, right there.
It's a fundamental shift. No more flooding fields or running sprinklers on a fixed schedule. Water goes right to the root zone based on actual plant need.
Okay, so ground level sensors, root level watering. What else?
Then you add the aerial view, drones, flying weekly,
What are the drones looking for?
tree health mainly,
Mhm.
detecting pests early. They were equipped with thermal and spectral imagery.
Thermal and spectral imagery.
Mhm.
Okay, maybe break that down a bit for listeners who aren't familiar. What does that actually let you see on a farm?
Good question. Basically, it's using different parts of the light spectrum, stuff our eyes can't see, thermal imaging spots, temperature differences.
Like stressed plants, maybe?
Exactly. Or irrigation issues, things you wouldn't spot visually until maybe it's too late. And spectral analysis looks at how plants reflect or absorb different wavelengths of light.
Okay.
That can reveal early signs of nutrient deficiencies or diseases, or even specific pest infestations. Stuff a human eye might miss for days, even weeks. It's all about super early detection, but across the whole area.
So you've got the soil data, the precision watering at the roots, and this high-tech aerial view for health and pests. How did Tom keep track of all this information? Must have been a flood of data.
It all streamed into one place, a central web dashboard. That was basically his command center.
Right.
He could log in, see the soil charts, track how fast the trees were growing, see exactly when and where irrigation was happening, get specific pest alerts, all remotely. The sources really emphasized this gave him complete visibility, complete control from anywhere.
That sounds like a pretty serious tech stack, though, especially for just 20 hectares to start. The sources mentioned an initial cost around $70,000 for the pilot.
Yeah, around $70. It's not pocket change, definitely a serious investment.
But the potential payoff, the ROI, must have looked good on paper.
Extremely compelling, according to the videos. They projected, they thought they could cut water use by a massive 40% compared to traditional methods on that same land.
40% water saving, that's huge.
And boost yield by over 60%. With numbers like that, they projected getting the full investment back surprisingly quickly, within just 5 years.
5 years, okay. And the source material makes it clear this wasn't just about profit, right? Tom's ambition was bigger.
Oh, absolutely. He wanted this pilot to be a blueprint, a proof of concept for what agriculture could be, what it should be moving forward.
Proving that this data-driven, tech-integrated approach wasn't just possible, but
Right.
way better.
Exactly. And the results, even just a few months in, they really validated that whole idea. The videos showed this thriving orchard, young trees, perfect rows, not just surviving, but genuinely flourishing. Water usage had dropped drastically, right on track with those projections. And the trees themselves, growing faster, looking healthier, stronger than they would have under the old ways.
That early success must have been incredibly motivating. Like, okay, this smart farming thing isn't just theory. It works. It's maybe even necessary, especially with pressures on resources like water.
It completely validated moving away from guesswork, which, naturally, led straight into phase 2.
Taking things up a notch.
Way up. After the success with the walnuts, the decision was made. Let's build what they envisioned as the world's most efficient greenhouse.
Okay, a high-tech greenhouse. And this is where the AI agent concept really comes into play, right?
Exactly. The core tech driving this new revolutionary greenhouse is an AI system they named Nova.
Nova.
And the sources don't just describe Nova as software. They call it an AI agent, something that can predict, optimize, and ultimately, as they phrase it, makes money while you sleep.
Makes money while you sleep. I like the sound of that.
Yeah. And this phase, especially Nova, is brilliantly illustrated in the sources through a direct comparison. They contrast Tom's new AI setup with a traditional farm.
Using an example farmer.
Yeah, someone named Jake and his experiences back in 2025, apparently. Jake's traditional farm really highlights all the problems Tom was trying to escape.
Right. What kind of issues was Jake facing? What did the sources say?
It paints a picture of just constant struggle against inefficiency. Jake was apparently wasting around 30% of his water daily, just gone, due to old irrigation methods.
30% daily.
Wow. His yields were unpredictable, which meant huge financial stress. A staggering 70% of his time was just swallowed up by manual labor.
70%.
And crucially, zero data, which meant zero ability to systematically optimize anything. You can't improve what you don't measure.
Sure.
The sources even put a number on it. They estimated Jake was losing about $12,000 a year just due to these inefficiencies.
12 grand down the drain. Okay, so let's look at the investment side. Jake's traditional setup cost about $10,000. Tom's AI smart greenhouse.
Higher upfront cost, $45,000.
Okay, significantly more. 4.5 times more.
It's a big difference in initial capital, no question. But then you look at the projected ROI and the efficiency gains Tom was targeting with Nova.
What were those projections?
He expected to get that $45K investment back in just 12 to 16 months. Remarkable speed.
Wow, okay.
The expected yield was pegged at 90 kilograms per square meter annually. That's literally double what was typical for traditional methods like Jake's. Double the output.
Double the yield.
And energy.
They projected an 18% reduction in energy consumption too, so saving money there as well.
Those are some impressive projections. But what's really striking is how fast they became reality. The sources say just 3 weeks after the systems went online.
Yeah, 3 weeks, full automation kicked in, and the impact was immediate. Tangible.
That's the power of a well-implemented AI agent, isn't it?
Yeah.
Nova wasn't just passively collecting data.
No, it was acting on it. Constantly. The system automated solar optimization, moving shades or panels to maximize light and energy capture.
It calibrated humidity control nonstop, soil temperature monitor 247, nutrient injection, fully automated, based precisely on what the sensors detected the plants needed right then.
So feeding the plants exactly what they need when they need it.
Exactly. And it even included active scanning and prediction for pests, trying to catch problems before they even started.
They gave that specific example too, the rain detection one. That really highlights the real-time reaction.
Yes, that's a perfect little micro example of the AI agent's value. External sensors detected rain. Enough rain.
And Nova.
Nova automatically paused the internal irrigation cycle. No need to water inside when nature's doing it outside. The sources calculated the saving right there. 23 liters of water saved.
Okay, maybe not huge in itself.
But it translated to a $47 cost saving just in that 1 week. It's a small decision. Maybe a human farmer or Manglu busy or distracted might miss or react to slower. But these little smart decisions, they add up dramatically over time.
That makes sense. And the impact gets even clearer when the sources lay out what they called the shocking performance metrics, comparing Tom's AI results directly to Jake's traditional farm.
Yeah, those numbers are quite something. Let's break them down. Yield. Tom hit 92 kilograms per square meter. Remember, his projection was 90.
So he beat the projection.
Slightly, yeah. While Jake, the traditional farmer, was getting 45 kilograms per square meter. Less than half.
Less than half the yield. That must hammer the revenue.
Directly. Tom's monthly revenue from just the greenhouse was over $2,300. Jake's was around $1,200. Well, it's somewhere between a 60 and 90% increase in revenue for Tom. Huge difference.
60 to 90% more money from the same footprint. And the labor. That was another big one. Jake was spending 60-plus hours a week manually.
Yeah, 60-plus hours weekly, Tom. With Nova running things, just 3 hours daily.
3 hours daily versus over 60 weekly. That's a 70% reduction in time spent.
Massive. A 70% labor reduction. And this isn't just about saving money on labor costs, it's about quality of life.
Right.
The sources point out another metric, stress level. For Tom, with the automated system handling all the complex variables, practically zero stress related to the greenhouse operations.
Versus Jake with the unpredictable yields and constant work.
Exactly. Constant financial and operational stress. So the AI agent, Nova, it wasn't just optimizing water or energy, it was optimizing Tom's time, his peace of mind.
That's a powerful benefit, often overlooked. And the other metrics held up too, the energy savings.
Yep, that 18% reduction in energy consumption realized. Lower operating costs, smaller resource footprint, everything seemed to exceed the initial projections.
Okay, so let's summarize the big impacts here from Tom's AI greenhouse revolution. Water conservation.
Improved by 35% overall compared to traditional methods. They calculated saving 1,500 gallons a month, specifically in the greenhouse.
Labor reduction.
70%, giving back huge chunks of time for family, for planning the next venture, whatever Tom chose.
Revenue.
Big increase. 60-90%, directly hitting the bottom line.
And the planning aspect changed too, right? It wasn't just reacting anymore.
Totally revolutionized. With Nova predicting growth rates, figuring out the optimal harvest times, even integrating market price data.
Wow, market prices too.
Yeah. So Tom knew, for example, his next harvest was only 6 days away, and projected market prices were rising 15%, leading to an estimated profit of $3,200 just from that one upcoming harvest.
That's farming based on foresight, on data, not just hope.
Exactly. The sources use this great analogy. They say Tom isn't really farming anymore in the traditional sense. He's conducting an orchestra of technology.
I like that. An orchestra of technology.
They even call it wizardry, emphasizing that it's about predicting and actually shaping the future of the harvest, not just reacting to whatever the day brings.
And that point, that's where this whole story really goes beyond just agriculture and becomes incredibly relevant for, well, all of us listening. These examples from Tom's farm, especially Nova in the greenhouse, there's such powerful illustrations. They show how AI, how automated systems can be applied basically anywhere you have complex variables, resources you need to manage, and goals you want to optimize.
Precisely. They show the power you get when you combine data, real-time data from sensors, with intelligent analysis from an AI agent.
To predict needs
Optimize processes.
and automate tasks.
Yeah. And doing that dramatically improves efficiency, and it slashes resource waste. Whether that resource is water, like on the farm, or labor, or energy, or even just your own time.
So let's connect this directly to you listening right now. Regardless of your industry, your job, Tom used data, sensors, AI agents to transform farming. Where could those same core principles apply to what you do?
Think about your own tasks, your workflows. Are there parts of your work that still rely on, guesswork, gut feeling?
Could data be collected automatically, maybe with simple sensors or software, to give you real-time insights you don't currently have?
Could an AI agent, maybe even a relatively simple one, analyze that data to predict needs or spot bottlenecks before they become problems?
What routine tasks could be automated based on those predictions or data triggers? Think about resource waste in your context.
Maybe it's optimizing schedules to save valuable time, analyzing data to make smarter investment decisions, avoiding costly mistakes, or maybe it's automating routine communications just to free up your mental energy for more important things.
The journey Tom took from traditional intuition-based farming to this data-driven automated system, that pattern, that transformation, it's applicable in almost any field.
It really is. It's about finding those spots where prediction and optimization can replace just reacting to problems and wasting resources. Tom's farm isn't just a cool story about agriculture.
No, it's a case study.
Exactly. A case study for applying these AI agent principles to get remarkable efficiency and resource conservation pretty much anywhere.
So let's wrap up this deep dive. We've walked through Tom's incredible journey, starting with that family legacy, that big plot of land,
Right. Moving from the frustrations and inefficiencies of traditional farming.
to the pioneering success of that smart walnut pilot project.
And then leveling up again to build that really revolutionary AI-powered greenhouse, all driven by Nova, the AI agent.
His story really lays bare the key success factors, doesn't it? A willingness to actually embrace the technology.
Yeah, not being afraid of
A commitment to collecting and actually using the data, not just letting it sit there. And the strategic rollout of automation using intelligent systems like AI agents, that combination, that fusion.
It allowed him to achieve efficiency levels and resource conservation, water, labor, energy that were just unprecedented in his context.
Okay, so here's the final thought we want to leave you with, something drawn right from the way the source material frames Tom's story.
Go for it.
Tom's experience shows us that the real impact of AI, of these agents, it isn't just about finding new ways, but it's more fundamental. It's about changing our relationship with work itself, with resources, with our own time, by letting Nova handle the complexity, the prediction, the constant adjustments.
Tom wasn't just saving water, boosting yield. He was getting his time back.
Exactly. Dramatically reducing his stress, allowing himself to focus on the bigger picture, on honoring that family legacy in a totally new, future-focused way.
So the question becomes,
As these AI agents get more sophisticated, as they become more integrated into all aspects of our lives, our industries, what other areas of your world could be transformed in a similar way? Where could you optimize your most valuable resources, your time, your energy, your focus, allowing you to really dedicate yourself to what truly matters most?